You're listening to Snippets from the Summit with your host, Scot McKay.
How's it going, gentlemen? This is Scot McKay, and you're listening to another Snippet from the Summit as part of the Mountaintop Podcast. Today we're going to talk about something that I think a lot of guys probably wonder about, but either don't get around to asking out loud or just feel like maybe they're the only ones who's ever thought of it. But just coming off a coaching call right this very moment, I changed the actual topic of what I was going to talk about today to this because I think it's a poignant enough issue and no one I know of or have read about has ever talked about it. So I want to address it. And that's this idea of knowing that safety and security is actually one of the primal elements of sexual attraction, and that women also cognitively, knowingly value that in men. Does that mean I have to be a large, imposing character and be on the ready like some sort of one-man police force to protect my woman from any harm, including other potentially big, huge guys at any given moment? Do I have to take a bullet for this woman? Do I have to get into fights for this woman, et cetera, et cetera? Well, I think it's a really good question because we as men are hardwired to think about providing security in those terms because we think about professional security providers, men in uniform, combat soldiers, Secret Service guys protecting the president and literally taking a bullet because that's what we see in video games. That's how our masculine imagination works. But what I want you to do for the next few minutes is think like a woman thinks about these issues and think about it in terms of masculinity as women define it, not necessarily, once again, that sort of machismo that is okay for us as guys to practice when we're hanging around our fellow buds and we impress each other with. It's a little different a subject to women, this whole idea of safety and security. First of all, I'm going to repeat something I've said literally since 2007 during my David D'Angelo interviews with Dating Gurus segment. Far too many women out there have a need to be protected more from the man they're with than any other guy. Because a lot of times we as men really do fumble the ball when it comes to what makes women themselves feel safe and secure in the way that really makes them horny and primally attracted to us. And to be honest, what makes them feel comfortable in general. Here it is, guys. I've known my wife for 18 years, married for 17 of them. There have only been 2 incidences in that entire period of time where I felt like I was in physical danger because I needed to step up and protect my wife's honor. And obviously I'm still here talking to you, so they weren't even that bad. Now, granted, I live in the United States. We don't live in a war zone. So the occasions where anybody's physical life is in real danger or we're in danger of being harmed even are relatively few and far between. And I know a lot of you guys listening live under similar circumstances. So knowing that this physical danger that I've got to protect any woman from, including my wife, my daughters, et cetera, might not be the crux of the matter here. What is it we're really talking about? Well, remember, first of all, that I said a lot of women need to be protected from the man they're with. If you're a red-blooded dude, the first thing you thought of is, there are a lot of guys out there who are bitch slapping their women and physically hurting them, and there's a lot of abuse going on at the physical level. Yeah, okay, fair enough, but also anytime you do anything of any sort that makes a woman feel uneasy, makes her feel a little unsure, and yes, possibly even scared of you, you have violated the proverbial attraction code where women feel safe and secure in your presence and therefore feel sexual attraction for you. Let me give you a few examples. If you slut shame a woman, if you make her feel stupid or dirty or less than in any way because she's showing sexual attraction for you, guess what? You're burning your own bridge. Notwithstanding what I just said about how often physical violence tends to happen in our Western culture, you're shooting yourself in the proverbial foot, okay? Another example is, are you taking her to bad neighborhoods on dates? Are you walking her down dark alleys? Are you putting her in any kind of situation that's compromised enough where she would feel uneasy or a little timid given her surroundings, even though you know you'd probably be able to fend for yourself? It's an unnecessary level of fear you're putting her through. Another example, and this is specifically for you high IQ guys out there, are you making her feel stupid? Are you making her feel undervalued? Is everything that comes out of her mouth wrong? Are you being argumentative? Are you belittling her or what she says or what she does or what she's interested in? Guess what? That's not going to make her feel emotionally safe. Have you not really chosen this woman you're with? One of the great ironies I'm about to drop on your desk today, gentlemen, is if you haven't really chosen this woman, if she isn't the woman you really want to be with, guess what? It's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy that she's going to probably cut and run at some point because you don't want her as much as you would want another theoretical or real woman out there. She's not going to feel as safe and secure with you. She's therefore going to lose attraction if she has any towards you. That's hard for a lot of men to wrap their head around, that when you go for women you're settling for, they're actually less likely to be attracted back to you. Huge irony there. Do you drive like a maniac when you're out with her and she fears there's going to be an accident and you're going to hurt her when behind the wheel? Is there some sort of Jekyll and Hyde effect when you drink too much where suddenly she doesn't recognize you anymore? You can become a little brusque. You can possibly even become a little bit more violent without even realizing you're being that way. Do you embarrass her in public, whether you're drunk or sober? Can she not take you around in front of her friends because she's afraid of what you're going to do next and whether you're going to humiliate her? All of these factors have something to do with her feeling safe and comfortable with you. Do you make good decisions in general like a mature man? By the way, guys, this is another one of those factors that makes older men attractive to younger women, in case you're missing it. Younger guys tend to say, hey, y'all, watch this, or here, hold my beer, right? Whereas more mature guys are measured in their decision-making, and they tend to make those right decisions. Before we wrap this up, I want to give you one more twist on this whole conversation. Any woman who tests your ability to provide safety and security to that physical level is a toxic woman. That's a toxic mindset, a toxic mentality. What I'm talking about here is the occasional woman who loves to pit men against each other to try to quote unquote earn her affection because she thinks it's really hot when guys get into bar fights and, you know, that sort of thing. Guys, don't fall into that trap. That's a lot like buying a Rottweiler in hopes that it would protect you from a home intruder if necessary, but then turning around and entering it into dog fights to the death like Michael Vick used to. Everybody knows that's a bad situation, so how toxic must it be when a woman tries to pit two grown adult human beings who happen to be men together just for her own prurient entertainment? So kind of landing the plane here. Gentlemen, this isn't only about making a woman feel safe from potential attacks from without. It's also her feeling safe within because you directly contribute to her safety and security at the emotional level and at the physical level. Want to talk about this some more or anything else? Scot at mountaintoppodcast.com. Be good out there.
As always, visit mountaintoppodcast.com for more.